too. It's about it's foundational for health, and it attacks every bad cell in your body and helps your cells stay healthy. So, but I think, like there's so many vendors there and they think, oh, it's just another thing. But when they realize 35 countries, 15 years in business, and why haven't I heard about this? But again, for not everyone that you look at, they are going to be interested. So I just wait for those people that look like they're healthy, health conscious, health minded, and have a conversation with them. So
And
unfortunately.
my apologies. Daniela specifically said, I want to listen to the recording of this because she had to go to work early today. And there's a couple of others. So Daniela and everybody else, we are speaking about things that get people to know how powerful this is and also create interest. And so I'm going to have everyone repeat what they have just said so it can be captured on the recording. So Sandy, since you were talking, we'll start with you.
Right. So this is kind of relative to a booth I had on Saturday, and to try and get people to kind of get a bigger picture of what ASEA is. I just share, this was introduced to me by a friend. I'd never heard of it, but what caught my attention, the fact that the company's been around since 2009, so 15 years in business, doing business in 35 countries in an emerging area of science that's over 300,000 articles on PubMed around redox signaling. So it's something that you're going to be aware of. You're one of the first people to hear about it here today.
Yes, she said it was a whole new area of science. So that captures people's attention because people haven't heard about it. And then Diane had, you'd like to repeat that?
I had said that I like to tell people that it's non-specific. And then I explain what that means, that, if generally we have, cabinets full of medication, a pill for this, a pill for that, a pill for this, a pill for that, whereas this will help with everything. And so that generally grabs their attention. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Anne said something really good.
It says, I would say it's the energy that powers your life, and it detects damaged cells in the body. It either corrects them or replaces them with healthy cells, and it's foundational and critical to our health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. My apologies. Remember to record from now on. I think those are all very good. If I have time, I say some of those things, but when you're like in our 20-minute Zoom that Jackie and I do, a lot of times I might mention also that, Dr. James Watson of Watson and Crick, and tell them, because most people have heard about the double helix of DNA, whether they've had science or not, and that he went into it, and that, there's redox research centers in almost every university now. And that usually gets them to see how big and powerful this is. And then there's a redox congress every year. And if you can just kind of spout that out very quickly, a lot of times that will get them to know how big of an area of science this really is. So that's some of the things I add. And then Jackie already brought up the fact that, when they want more information, she sends them our 20-minute Zoom, and then she sends them real redox results. No, discover redox. And no, what do you say?
No, real redox results, and discover redox. All three, I just let people decide what they want to look at. So,
okay. And nobody told you that's too much or too overpowering or anything. Okay.
No, I just say people like, people like different information, basically. So however people learn best for them, testimonials, or you can see everything, or the science. So I include the genetic study as well. So they have a little bit of everything they can look at. And then as far as also going back to intriguing, I share the ASEA Genesis with people, and most people, they're like, well, that makes sense. And it's intriguing to them, and they want to learn more. So
okay, very good. Anybody else have anything? I mean, that's pretty much everything that I would send. Yes, Joyce?
Okay, one more question.
Sure.
Does anybody use an analogy of penicillin? Because sometimes I say, okay, go back in time with me. It's not 2024, it's 1924. And 4 years ago, there was a new medicine that hit the market in the military, not in the civilian population. And it was called penicillin. And if you had a toe ache or a bullet in your shoulder, they gave a shot of the penicillin in the buttocks, and it knew where to go to take care of the infection. So now come forward with me now. We have a new product. And then I say something very similar to what Sandy says. They get it.
With that, I say sometimes, it took penicillin 24 or 25 years to be in public. So this has been out for 11 years. So I do mention that sometimes.
Good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes I say, okay, jump forward with me just a few more years, go to 1942, and that's when I was born. And at age 6, I had pneumonia. I was the first person in my entire family, and it's a huge family, to have a shot of penicillin. And I got over it in 1 week. So that's how long it took to get into the civilian population. And that was 1948.
Yep.
So that's good. God, I'm old.
No, you're not. You've got more years on you than some people, but you're not old. You're very young thinking.
Oh.
Well, I know Torsten Settlemyer used to be in ASEA, and that's what he would say it just in kind of a different way. He said, I've discovered something that's just as important or more important than penicillin. And it's changing the medical field and stuff like that. He would say that over and over and over. I've discovered something that's, more important than DNA or penicillin, and he would say that over and over. And if people asked him more about it, he would just repeat the same thing. And then he'd say, if you really want to know more, and then he'd send them a video or something like that. But he never told them anything other than that. He was one of the fastest growing, and he got to, it's at the time, Triple Diamond was the top of and he got to Triple Diamond very quickly that way by just saying that over and over. And that's one of the things I always tell new people: just don't try to be a redox expert. People do not know you as a redox expert, and there's going to be a disconnect if you start trying to tell them all the science about it. So
Yeah, I was going to say that one of the best lines that I usually send people, I don't usually say it because it's too long-winded, was what Tyler said. I recently have come across something that the most significant science and health science breakthrough in our lifetime, not unlike DNA or the discovery of penicillin.
mhm.
And I think it has enormous potential, and I would like you to watch a short video, and then I'll reach back out to you. That line, written anyhow, as I said,
Right.
for me, probably gets me probably the most people watching back.
Okay.
I have yet to have anybody refuse to send the video.
And if you I know a lot of times he will say, I work with a biotech company. And if you say that, it doesn't bring up the network marketing piece. We distribute it through that, and we can be proud of it. But there are people who have a negative response immediately to network marketing. So, so if you say that, it kind of takes that away for a little bit. I mean, they'll eventually learn, but you want them to learn about the product first before you bring up how it's distributed, basically. Okay, and
Debbie,
then, yes. Mhm.
I think for the recording, I would love to have Joyce, if you didn't mind, to share your story with you about your neighbors, because that's how we got into the subject.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to share a little bit about the importance of contacting people on their anniversary with taking a SIA. My neighbor celebrated their first year anniversary, and I contacted them. And that started a conversation. I found out that she had just had back surgery, and I wanted to cry. I really did, because I know that if she had applied Renew 28 the way she was supposed to, it would have reduced the swelling, taken care of her discomfort, and prevented this back surgery, because she was hobbling when I saw her. And with that came, when I talked to her about it, and Pearl is here, so she had a double dose coming at her when we were sitting around a table. And she realized, I think, how important and how honestly this product can help with just about everything. And then she started talking about her daughter, who at 23 is having some seizures and stress. She's getting ready to graduate from college. And when she mentioned redox to her daughter, who is a chemistry major, she knew what redox was. What she didn't know is that redox now has a product, but she had studied redox chemistry. And then she started talking about a nurse in her family who's been diagnosed with dementia. So now she's branching out in her own mind how powerful this product is. And that's how we started the conversation.
Yes, and thank you. So I've been wanting to bring that up for a little while, because people, especially new people, I would get them to know you guys are all leaders and stuff, and you guys understand the power of this, and you try to get that across. And it's if people are aware or open or they're listening, basically, if they're going to hear it or not. But especially for new people, I like to tell people the whole vision and the whole big experience of ASEA, and get them to, when they're moving forward, when they're first starting to talk to people, because that's the scariest time. How do you bring up redox in a conversation? You don't. You have to actually say something. It's not like you're talking about cleaning supplies and, oh yeah, I've got this great product called Windex. It just doesn't naturally come up very often, unless they've got something wrong with them. So as you're first starting people, and that's another conversation too, when you're first starting people, to let them know how big of a area of science this is, and to try to get that across to their friends, and some of these things that we're speaking about that you can say to them and have them repeat that to other people would be very good as far as that goes. And speaking of that, do you all have a specific thing that you do? Because Sean's not here, but I know she likes to do a grand opening, and that's what we've been saying a lot. That if they're very excited, like this girl that Jackie and I talked to yesterday, her name's Lindsay, and she knows so many people, she said, and she wants to get this on a lot of people. And so we talked to her about having a grand opening where she could either get some of her people, she could offer them one of the webinars that are on, especially the Tuesday night one, basically. That's probably one of the best ones now. And except for this week when we're going to Puerto Rico, we do a 20-minute Zoom. So that could be one of the options also to send people to. And because we do that for Dion, who's on this, who's here today also, we do that for her at least once every 2 weeks. And she always has people on. So a grand opening and then offering them a 20-minute Zoom. And you guys can do the 20-minute Zooms basically. Because I know I've sent the slides I have, and you could get some of, Alan Noble on discoverredox.com has downloaded all of his PowerPoints. So if you need any slides from anywhere, you can go there and save that PowerPoint and then just copy and put it on your own. So there's that too. And then I think Carolyn just sent me hers also. So if you need any slides, And you could do your own 20-minute Zoom for people and get them started, because that's one of the easiest things to do, is to invite people to be educated about something. And just say, you can't buy anything, this is just for education purposes, and maybe state what Sandy said, it's a whole new area of science. Nobody really knows what this is yet. But so I just really would love you to come look at it, because it's a huge breakthrough, basically. But is there anything else that you guys do to kind of initiate new people, even if they're preferred customers or whatever, if they don't want to share it yet or anything like that? Do you have a specific way that you get with new people to talk to them and get them involved and get them plugged in? Sandy?
Well, I
Yeah.
was going to say, especially if it's brand new, kind of have to fill out the situation. Not everybody wants to do a muscle test or a strength test or a 3 and 5, but you kind of have to fill out the conversation. If they're open, I say, can I share how you can experience this immediately?
Mhm.
And then I do the balance test or strength test. But then I have a kind of a welcome email to anybody that joins, either as a customer or an associate. And I list all of our team events that we do, or Ask the Doctor Zooms. I said, plug in as much and as often as you are able. I highly encourage you to do that, because my first year, it's like I didn't do that. I didn't really learn about it. But once I started learning about it, like this is what turned my headlights on. It's like, why am I not telling people about this? So
Right.
some people just never show up, but at least you're encouraging and you're letting them know, plug into the team and learn about this. So, but yeah, just the experience with the 3 and 5, or even the strength and balance test, to kind of open their mind a little bit. But then once they're in and they're going to sign up or join, then I email a welcome email with resources. And I just did a walkthrough last night with a gal who'd never really got into her virtual office. So I do kind of an orientation of virtual office and understanding how to get through there. I know for a long time, the dashboard looked like a foreign language to me, and like, what are all these numbers? What are all these columns? It's like, I said, this won't make much sense to you, but once we start building your team, this is kind of your business. You'll know where to look and kind of see what's happening. So.
And do you ever ask them permission to put them in a WhatsApp group, or
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
so that
Yep.
you can remind them of these things? Because
Yes, exactly.
they'll read
Yeah,
the
and
email.
I just started my own WhatsApp group for
Okay.
people that I've signed up as customers. And if you want to join, this is an easy way for me, rather than texting you all the time.
Right.
I can send one text and everybody sees what's going on. So.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And then Dion in the chat just Jackie and I do 20-minute Zooms for her and her people, like I just said, once about every 2 weeks or so. And she just put in that if anybody wanted to join, she's happy to have people join. So when the next one comes up, I will put that in the Accelerator group. And if you want to join and have anyone new come in, we would thank you, Dion. That's very generous of you. So you could have your own people come in to that also. And I'll put it out a few days ahead of time, so you can get people, that might be available then.
Sandy, can I ask you a question? Hi, when you put your welcome emails out, do you have specific ones for new associates versus new preferred customers?
I kind of just do it on the fly. For new customers, I just usually put out there the Ask the Doctor Zooms,
Okay.
those events.
Type.
But for associates, I've got
Right, then you would have all the business.
everything out there. Yeah. And usually I've enrolled them. So I put a link to their website. It's like, here's your username. This is your website. This is where you direct people if you have people want to enroll.
Awesome, thank you.
Some people don't know about this feature, but Jackie, can I call on you? You use Gmail, but it's with other email addresses also. But I just allowed you to share your screen. Can you share your screen and show how you've saved your emails that you send out? Because then you don't have to redo them each time, or you can bring it up and then change it to their name and stuff. You can add whatever. but
Cool.
Jackie
like
can
it's-
do that.
That'd be great, like a template.
It's a template, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Mhm.
So, so yeah, when I'm sending information to people, well, everything's, yeah, in a template. So, in Gmail, whenever you create an email, you can do more options. And then there are templates that you can create. And so when people, you know, if I'm following up with someone, if they've enrolled, whether they're a customer or an associate, if they want more information, if they're ready to order, I've done templates for everything, so I don't have to type everything out every single time. But once they like enrolled, so like this one, you know, I'll be like, Debbie, welcome to the ASEA Venture. I'm so excited for you and hearing about your results with this incredible technology. Thank you for your trust and being open-minded about this technology you've never heard about before. If they're an associate, I let them know again what their website is. If they're not, if they're a customer, I just delete it. And then log into your back office, you know, go to here, your username is blah, 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 and your user ID is blah, 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 and your password is blah, 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 because I've helped them usually sign up. Here are some useful documents for them as well. So I include the usage guide, their health tracker that we did together, 50 ways to use Renew 28, uses for the spray bottle, 3 times in 5 minutes. And then this video on why ASEA tastes different to everyone, because everyone experiences, why does it taste weird, blah, 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 or whatever. So they can watch this video. In addition, I have the Redox guide for them to look at as well. If they're on Facebook, I include them in the Redox customers group. Once they've joined, I've tagged them in the intro video from Danielle and Alyssa, just to let them know how to use the site. And then again, please let me know when your product arrives so we can go over again how to take it to get the most efficient results. So that's my template for once they've enrolled.
Well, go ahead and send that to me.
I probably have.
That's very good, actually.
That's excellent, Jackie. I was just
Is that
thinking
in
the other
words?
day how time consuming I am with my emails, and I got to figure something out because, yeah, it's just, it's when you don't know how to do these things, it's rather time consuming. That's excellent. Thank you.
Yes,
You're
thank you.
Yes. So you
So
create.
I have a series of 10 emails that I send out to new people.
Mhm.
They're and I also have the same series of 10 emails that I send out to my preferred customers.
And
Just a copy and paste. It's in
Yeah.
Google.
no, I know, but that's and like I've mentioned that I wasn't supposed to, ASEA is going to start doing that also, which will be good. You guys take care of your own preferred customers and associates, but there are a lot of people in your downline who you never know when they sign up a preferred customer, and they're probably not taking care of them. So I'm very happy that ASEA is going to be start doing that. The new customers will be at least welcomed and feel like they're part of it, and they'll be plugged into a few things. So that'll be really good when that starts, and that'll be pretty soon. They already have all the templates when we were there at the fly-in ready to go. So hopefully they're going to be starting that very soon. That may be some of the announcements that we'll be hearing about. They're going to give us some sneak peeks of what's coming up in Puerto Rico when we go. So I'll be able to report on those next week, and along with Jackie and Joyce and Pearl if she's around. And is anyone else and Sandy will be there. Is anyone else going to Puerto Rico? I don't think so. I'm there. Okay. Anyway, so we'll be able to report. Yes.
My question is, Jackie, when you have the WhatsApp group and you get their permission, do you do that only for your first level, or you go the second level and they are their prospects or their associates?
Are you talking to me or Sandy?
Jackie.
Anybody can answer this question.
I mean, my WhatsApp group is primarily for people that are doing the business. So,
Within your level, I mean, the first level, or you go for their people as well?
yeah, anyone that wants to do the business. Because like Michelle, she's 2 levels down from me. So I've included her. So it doesn't matter. Whoever's interested in doing the business.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And that's, I started Team Prosperity. And so then I don't keep adding people necessarily like Jackie's people. I know she's got her own. And that way they look at her as the leader, which they should. And so I stopped including people in Team Prosperity from Jackie's group. But we can add anyone that you want, because I do try to put out, announcements and what's happening and all that kind of stuff on that, as well as this group. I mean, you get a double whammy if you're part of both groups.
For me, I include both because I just want to feel like customers feel like they're supported. Like they
Yes.
know that there's information that they can seek out and ask. So I do both customers and associates in there.
And do you get their permission as well, Sandy?
Yeah,
Yes.
I basically invite them to come in. Yeah, yeah. And I've always had this business name in my head, even since Niken. It's like total health naturally. It's like naturally we should be totally healthy, and we should be healthy with natural products. So total health naturally is kind of the name of my group. So Team Total Health Naturally. So
Nice.
I want to get an LLC with that, but I haven't done that yet. So
Yes, you should, before it's taken.
yeah, yeah.
Of course, there's different LLCs in each state.
I
so-
think I have it registered with the state as a business name, whatever that is, but I've never really gotten to that level of incorporating, so, or LLC.
Well, that's not very hard. The LLC is not very hard.
Okay.
S-corp, on the other hand.
Okay.
Anyway.
I hope I get to that point someday.
That would actually be a nice topic though, Debbie, like reasons why you should maybe, or, get an LLC, or, that might be like on the business side of things. Or
Yeah, and I could have maybe Paul come in and talk about it. He's probably a little bit more well-versed, but I know I did it to kind of protect myself. And again, I've asked Ben Tyler. We do have $1 million policy,
right.
each one of us, to protect us from ever being sued. No one's ever been
Didn't know
sued
that.
so far. Yeah, we do.
Hmm.
They provide that for us. But it's kind of to protect yourself, because if I don't know, if someone
mean,
tripped and fell and wanted to sue me, say I tripped and fell on a sea of bottle. Oh, here, let me mute her. If someone tripped and fell on a sea of bottle and wanted to sue you.
But that versus like getting a separate umbrella policy or something, what?
I have that also, just in case, for
Okay.
anything that happened. I definitely had that when I had a swimming pool. So that's one of my
Right.
things to do. It adds a layer of protection, as Dion's putting in there. And so that it protects your property, them from getting, all your property or something like that.
Thanks. Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons to do that. And then, as you start making more and more money, if you file as an S corp, you pay yourself, and then you pay the taxes on that rather than on the whole shebang. So it saves you money in taxes, basically. Let me see what else Dion put in the chat, because she is maybe.
Got that going.
Yeah. Business trust, max layer of protection against lawsuits, a business trust. And I don't even know about that one. So I could get somebody like Paul on here to speak about that, if that's something that you guys might be interested in, because that would be probably a good thing to start learning more about. But eventually, yeah, you might and you can put that, so if you go to my website, it's Enlightened Wellness LLC.
Mhm.
And but I mean, you can make your website. I made it my name. That's your business name. I put it Debbie Wetzler so people would know who it was, basically. But that's when I get my taxes. It's under Enlightened Wellness and all that kind of stuff. And I know Jackie's got Renew Your Life. That's her LLC. And you can there is a paper and a form in the back office in the library that if you get an LLC, you fill that out and then they'll switch it over.
Yeah, okay.
And the only thing that ever hurt me with when I went in to get my Colorado driver's license, they wanted my tax forms to prove who I was and stuff like that. I bring it in, they go, "It's Enlightened Wellness. How do we know that's you?"
Hmm.
So I had to prove it in other ways. It was such a mess. I had to go back there 4 times. Finally got my driver's license. Anyway. Okay, and then we were on the templates. Did everyone catch how to do that and everything? You understand all that?
That's cool.
There's
Yeah,
templates, I'm
I
sure,
know
with
what it
Yahoo
is.
and everything else.
Yeah, just fine.
Okay. And Dion's putting a lot of good information in the chat. The company doula, DOOLA, can help form LLCs if you do not want to form it on your own. And I help with business trust if anyone needs help. Oh, Dion, can you come on and speak about a business trust? I never know if she's
Greetings. How are you,
Greetings.
Debbie?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't show my face, but my background at least is quiet now. I got everybody out of the house. Um so business trust is a layer of protection. Whereas like the LLC is great in terms of not showing up as your individual sole proprietor self. There's less tax liabilities when you are showing up just as yourself, meaning your name on the dotted line.
Right.
Of course, if somebody, God forbid, tried to sue you, when you're just showing up as yourself, they can take your house, your car, all of those things that might be 100% in your name or you listed as the owner. The LLC comes in as another layer of protection, but it also stands for a limited liability company. So there are liabilities still with the LLC, but it's still better than putting everything in your name. You also have different write-offs with the LLC in terms of taxes, whether you're self-employed or you're saying you're a business owner, you have lots of different, like over 100 different tax write-offs. You can write off your home office. So if that's where you're working from, your home, and you just have an area of your home, you can also put like your electricity, because that's what's fueling your operations. You can put that in your LLC. It's just a 9-digit number, just like your social security number. It's an EIN. So that's ways to actually have write-offs. And then the business trust itself is like the golden steel right there, because in court cases, anybody could really kind of pierce through a LLC. When you have a trust that's privatized, that's a layer of the protection that, for one, when you have an LLC, it's owned by the state. The real owner is the state because you're registering it with them. Regis, the breakdown of the word registrar, Regis means that it belongs to the crown, meaning England. So they're the ones that actually own the LLC itself. Even though you're listed as the owner, you're more like the co-owner, because once you hand ownership over them to register it, they're the true owner of it. You're kind of just like leasing the name, meaning that you have to update it, you have to stay on top of it. When you have an actual trust, that's more like your staple. No one could just pull it out. And the court has a more challenging time fighting against a trust, because it's not all trusts are incorporated by the state. It's more like private use. So you have a better option with, you could layer it in the way where you could have the LLC and the business trust. It all depends on your type of strategy and your layers of protection that you want. But having a trust is more like next level for a layer of protection for yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Living trust, this could be a whole call in itself. But I do have a course that I don't mind dropping in the chat box. It's on YouTube. It's free. You can watch it and then reach out if you have more questions. But a living trust would mean that that's more like a revocable trust. So there's 500,000 different types of trust, but the main thing you should know is there's actually two types, a revocable or irrevocable. So let's say that I'm talking about a charitable trust, I'm talking about a private family foundation, I'm talking about a statutory trust. There's different types of trust, but the main ways to describe it would be irrevocable, which means that you cannot just easily pierce through it, because what's written is that, like, if you have your house in an irrevocable trust and you pass it down to your children, they can't just sell it. It's a part of that and can't be changed. Whereas a revocable trust, if you pass it down to your children, they could just sell the house that's written in that. And it's more easily for you to, the court to have a say. So that's more, living trust really falls under revocable trust, which is more like open, changeable. You can move things around, and that is two bodies in there. That means that you could also be the grantor or settler of that trust and also the trustee. That's two parties, versus an irrevocable is going to be three parties. That means it's going to be somebody as the grantor that is not you, and then it's going to be the trustee, and then it's going to be the beneficiary. That's three parties. So trust in itself is a lot to unpack here, but just kind of the takeaway is that that is the supreme layer of protection. Really, everybody should be operating through trust, especially because trusts do not go to probate. So if you was to die today and you just have a will is not going to protect you and your family against probate. And it's a really strenuous process on the family, because probate court is no joke. And a will does not allow you to avoid that. A trust does. So
Yeah.
I hope all that helps. I'll drop my video in the chat box, and then all my contact information is within the video if you want to learn more.
Thanks, Dion, very much.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
I have a quick question though. If somebody became
Mhm.
all powerful or something like that, if the world
A
changed,
genie?
which is not exactly, but you're saying that the state owns part of that trust if you've got a business trust. Could they ever come in and just take it then? They probably could.
No, with a business trust, a state doesn't. With the LLC, they really kind of have that power. But with a business trust that you make privately, no.
Oh, but I thought you said when you do a business trust, it's hard to sue somebody because the state owns part of it.
No, the LLC is what the state owns part of. When you register your
Okay.
LLC with the state, they really have jurisdiction. Everything comes down to jurisdiction. And what that means is, like, you think about your area code, your zip code, where you live, that's a jurisdiction. So usually, like, your license is tied to the jurisdiction. You're tied to the jurisdiction through your license or whatever you filled out on your applications. So the state essentially has a form of control, just like if you was to register your car, they have a form of control. That's how they could write tickets and try to charge you. So it's a lot to unpack here with that. But when you have a trust, they don't have jurisdiction over your trust.
Okay.
Because it's really you deciding how you're going to govern yourself. It's like its own private jurisdiction. And that you do not incorporate a trust, whereas you do with the LLC, and the state has a piece of that LLC because you've incorporated with them. You basically
Right.
said, here, I want to create this, but also you could tell me how to do business with it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Dion.
Thank you.
All right. All right. There's everything you needed to know about your business and how to do it. Anyway, it is a good thing to protect yourself a little bit as you start making more money. So it's good to look into all these different things, and you could talk to your financial advisor maybe and talk to them, and or Dion's going to put her information in the chat if you'd like to talk to her. All right, it's kind of the bottom of the hour. Are there any other questions or comments that anyone wants to make? I'm all about trying to simplify how you're doing business and stuff.
I switched to my phone so I could get her link, but I don't see it yet. Oh, there it is. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll just put a note there because I know I'm not the only Canadian on this call. Canada's laws fall under British law,
Yes,
and they're quite different than the US.
right, exactly. So this doesn't apply to Peter. What do you do in Canada? Just out of curiosity.
In Canada, you need to register with the province that you're in.
Uh-huh.
And then in certain cities have, you may or you may not need a business license to operate in. That
Okay.
depends on the jurisdiction, but you should have registered with the province under a business name if you're going to, or a number. You get a choice.
All right. And you can still get a trust, Peter. I have a Canadian group that you can connect with.
Yep.
Dion. Okay. All right. Well, next week I'm sure I'll be reporting on, some of the things that we learned about in Puerto Rico, and we'll have some other training available at that point too. But anyway, so I will see you next Monday bright and early. We will just have gotten back on Sunday. So anyway.
No calls in this Wednesday for you?
Yeah, I already put that out in the WhatsApp groups. Unless somebody feels like they want to do them. Anybody chiming up to do the calls?
If there's a need for it, I can do the 20-minute. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with the skincare, but only if there's a need for it.
Well, I was
can
just
help
talking.
you, Peter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know one of my big groups that come on are Don and Linda Cheney, and they always have people in their room, but they're going to be in Puerto Rico also.
Right.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think I should put out that you're going to be doing it?
I can help Peter if he wants to do it.
I think at this point, I already put out that there were no 20-minute Zoom and there was no anti-aging. So I might just leave it like that because I think it's going to get confusing at this point. But that's good to know for other times that I'll be traveling and might not be able to do it. So thank you, Peter and Anne. I'll be using you in the future. And I'll get in touch with you before I, put anything out. So anyway.
Debbie, I was just going to ask about your most current 20-minute. Could you repost that maybe? If we wanted to share the recording with somebody.
No, it's the same one that we put out. I haven't been recording what I've been doing because I don't always keep it 100% compliant. I know I probably should, but I don't. And that's sometimes it can be more powerful that way. Because a lot of
Right.
times I will speak about what the scientist told me, and she mentioned Alzheimer's and autism and all that stuff. And sometimes I just say what she said. I'm not making claims for ASEA, but that could be
Mhm.
misconstrued in a video.
Right.
So anyway, but no, it's just the same one that we've put out. We have some new photos and stuff like that. We should probably redo it. So maybe we can get around to redoing it again. And then we'll put it back out. So, all right. Well, everyone have a great week.
Have a great trip.
I'll send you lots of
Enjoy
sunshine
where
from
we're
Puerto
going.
Rico. All right.
Enjoy.
Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.